I'm unable to, but I'm able to, so it's good.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Monday with us, the very first Monday in November of 2024. And as you see, I'm going to have a very beautiful guest on in just a moment. Uh, Hypnotherapist Kendall Cobb, who is just an excellent all-around person, a great mom, a wonderful, wonderful wife. And so it's going to be an honor and a pleasure to have her join me. But in the meantime, though, let me do this. Okay, everybody, let's do this. Okay. You see? Okay. All righty. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. It's going to be a very interesting show. It's going to be a show that we all have gone through at some point, but I have the right person on to talk about a timely situation that affects us all to some degree or at one point or another. There's a couple of things I have to let you know. One is regarding the app, the Star 8 app, what's going on with that, and also the newsletter. So let me just introduce the sponsors for today, which is Riza Islam, intellectualpowers.net. If you click on the QR code, you will get an opportunity to get a discount if you type in the word numbers. Then next would be Nicholas Brooklyn out at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York City, celebrating 54 years. They made a commitment to promote the show to the very end of the year, for which I am so thankful. And then next week, not this Sunday, no, is it? It's next Sunday coming up. This coming Sunday, they're going to feature in Carew. He's going to have a pop-up shop with jewelry and things like that. It's just amazing. That's going to be it. Also, one of our sponsors is Miss Kimberly. Whoops, nope. There it is, right there, Miss Kimberly. She has a podcast on, so it's KIMBALEY.com. That's KAMBAILEY.com, or if you go to her YouTube is KIMBALEY underscore to get her channel and get the information. Also, an astrologer, Eric Taylor. I was on his show last week. Very good. We were talking about the election that's going to be tomorrow. We did not give a prediction as to who, as so much as what the conditions would be for both two of them. And that would be it. So let us do the forecast for today. It is Monday. I got it November the 4th. I think I got everything correct this time. The sun is in Scorpio. The moon is in Sagittarius. It's a 1 universal month, an 11 universal week, a 5 universal day. So for those that are Geminis or Virgo, or those that are born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of any month, this is your day. All right. Before I get to that, let me explain something that has happened with the app. Evidently, I found out this morning from my developers that the Star 8 was hacked. That's why people couldn't load the information on. And that's why people didn't get the full. Some got the calendar, some did not. And what happens is I normally do a daily report every single day called Lloyd's Forecast. And so somebody asked me, could I read it today? So for those of you, hopefully, I was told first thing this morning by this evening or tomorrow, fingers crossed, this will be resolved and everything will be returned to normal. So for those of you who have my a Star 8 mobile app, if it's not working, believe me. And so now I see what happens when they hack this and that. So it goes like that. But what I want to do before I bring Kendall on is this was the forecast for today on the app. It says Monday, November, the sun is in Scorpio, moon Sagittarius, 1 universal month, 11 universal week, 5 universal day. And I says, this is a perfect day to bring about meaningful changes in your life if you're sincerely in earnest. You won't be able to do it otherwise if you don't. And with these meaningful changes, if you're open, willing, and able, comes the possibility of meaningful opportunities that could make a tremendous difference in your life by the time the sun goes down. However, if you fail to make an effort, you may never see the light of day as you move forward this month. And why should you let a chance like today go by? So perhaps a Gemini, Virgo, and Aquarius, so those born on the 5th, the 14th, the 23rd, may be the ones to help you. Okay. So anyway, that's it. So I've got that straight, but I will explain. So for those of you who have not been able to access the app, boy, I'm learning as we go along. I never thought it would be hacked. Why somebody want to hack my thing? I really don't know. It's not that serious like that, but that's how people want to do it. But nonetheless, you now know. And so, but they said no later than this evening or tomorrow, it should be back in full steam. All righty. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my very, very special guest, Kendall Cobb, hypnotherapist, life coach, entrepreneur, beautiful mother, beautiful wife, and a whole lot more. Hi, Kendall. How are you?
Hi, Lloyd. Thank you for having me. I'm well. I'm well. And you look like you're doing really well too.
Yeah. I figured that. Let me put a little sunshine in this puppy today, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, anyway, we were talking about a very interesting thing that concerns more people than people know, and that is stress. And believe it or not, I think they now they consider stress one of the diseases. And you said something very interesting that stress could kill. What do you mean? And are you serious?
Very serious. I'm as serious as stress is. Stress left unchecked can turn into diabetes. It can turn type 2 diabetes, of course, not type 1, but type 2 diabetes, um, mental health issues. Stress kills people. And it's not that uncommon, unfortunately, when it goes unchecked. And it's really important that people know how to manage their stress and how to handle it so that it doesn't become overwhelming. And this life that we live, it's stressful. There's so many things that bring us stress, just day to day, dealing with children and parenting, work, society, for those of us that are melanated every day, that's stressful enough. Um, what happens with stress is hormonal. So when you're under consistent stress, you are adjusting your hormones and you're making changes as well with your brain chemistry. So it's really important that we learn how to handle it so that we can be healthy and we can thrive and get through this life happily. And I think it's also being aware of what is even worth stressing over. Some people just have a natural proclivity to stress over everything, and that can be a learned thing. If the people that raise you are high stress people and everything is a big deal for them, everything is overblown, everything, gets them jittery and they're flitting about and they're constantly worrying, that can be a learned behavior that needs to be unlearned.
I think is very interesting the things we do, especially when you talk about melanated people. No people have been more stressful than we have in that sense. All other people have gotten some kind of therapy. I don't think we've ever got as a collective, melanated collective, anything therapeutically to deal with our trauma over the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years at all.
But
And
we
so,
are now. We are
yeah,
now.
yeah. And so, for example, like there's, like Boeing has laid off thousands of people, a tech company's laid off thousands of people, a bank in Oklahoma closed, unemployment has gone up. Um, and so naturally, so you still, regardless, still got to pay your bills, you still got to buy food. Food is expensive, rent is expensive, mortgage is expensive, insurance is expensive on cars. It seems like everything is going up except the person's salary. Would that justify some of the stress that they're having? I mean, seem like it's a no-brainer to me. If everything is going up with your
Absolutely.
salary, how in the world do you keep up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can't deny that stress, there are things that are stressful and there are lots of them. It's just how you handle it, how you perceive it and how you release it. Because whether you stress about it or not, it's still happening. But one of the problems with stress is that it blocks your clear thinking and judgment. Your creativity decreases. There are ways of getting out of it. And especially now with the internet, you may lose your job, but there are ways of making money on the internet. There are things that you can do, and you really need to be open minded and flexible and know how to pivot. And that's one of the things that when you're stressed, you don't even consider. You sort of become myopic and all you can see is straight ahead what is going on and your fear takes over. So when you learn to manage stress, you're able to at least maneuver and you have a much better chance of handling the situation than when you don't know how to manage it.
What is the best way to start out, even if it's in increments, baby steps, about starting to deal with stress? Because I think some of the stress is legitimate. I don't think a lot of it's in the imagination. When a person's trying to figure out how to feed their family, pay their rent or mortgage, food, or all the other things, and then see this country has oriented its citizens to be a nation of consumers, not survivors or savers as in other countries, but to spend, spend, spend. Maybe that's why the debt of this country is $35 trillion in credit card debts, and I mean it's just really amazing.
Absolutely. And one of the things that people can do, and this is not to address, you know, that people are losing their jobs and things like that, but one of the things that people can do is to learn to be content with what you have. It, as you said, we're consumerists. All we do is buy, buy, buy. We don't feel that we're worthy unless we have the latest car, the latest fashions, and all of that is just, it's so toxic. It's a toxic way to think and it's a toxic way to live. And it keeps you by the throat. They always have you by the throat because you are trying to keep up. And it's so unnecessary. When you are content with yourself, when you have self love and you know your value and your worth, those things do not have their grip on you. So it's a matter of also how you see yourself and the world and how you put together in your own mind and in your own heart what is important. Do you really need the big house? Maybe you'd be better off paring down. Maybe you would be better off if your job is so toxic and so you're coming home and you're tight and you're angry and you're having trouble sleeping. Maybe that's not the job for you. I think we really need to learn to assess what is important and what isn't, and let go of all the extra baggage. People that are happiest are people who live simply. And maybe all of this that's going on is going to teach us to live simply.
I was thinking the same thing too. Even if there was I was saying in theory, let's say there's a food shortage. Well, since the country is known to have is over average in obesity, maybe instead of eating 3 or 4 times a day, they learn how to eat maybe once or twice a day, or whatever the case is, because at least that way they can save on their health. But people are so accustomed to they gotta have this or that, the other thing. So it just makes for a lot. It makes a lot, and the fact that it affects your health, that is one of the main things about it, that especially in a negative way. But you just said one thing that I wasn't aware. I thought it was more mental when you said it was hormonal. Can it be a combination of both? Does that make sense?
Well, it's hormonal and then it affects you mentally. So it's twofold.
Okay.
It's twofold. But when you learn how to bring it down, and there are a number of ways to do it, becoming more physical, getting sunshine on your face and getting out and into fresh air and being active, doing yoga, meditation, all of those things are helpful, but it's also perspective. You really have to get your perspective in order about what truly is important, because a lot of this stuff is just stuff. It's just stuff, and we've given it much more importance than it really deserves.
I think so. Here's a question
And
that
it's it's really making us, on edge unnecessarily.
But does that explain why people are on edge, ready to? There was an article I was reading not too long ago. I think it was in California. They said that there's more anger issue with driving, and a whole lot of things. People are on edge with it. It's just crazy, and people want to get into arguments,
It's funny.
confrontations.
The
It's
me first syndrome, when people are driving and they're all uptight, that is, I really believe that is them trying to have power in their lives when they don't have it elsewhere. So you have a boss that is bossing you around, and supervisors, and you have to behave a certain way and you have to contain yourself. People seem to let their rage out on the road because in their minds there's no consequence to it. So they get behind the wheel and then they become terrors and everything upsets them. But the saying, nobody cries over spilled milk, is right there. It's not really that someone just cut you off. That's not really that big a deal. It really isn't. Like,
yeah.
they didn't hit you. It's okay. You're really angry about other things in your life and you're taking it out on the road.
Well, I was told that the real personality comes out behind driving a car, and you got some people
I
that
think
are
the person's
like,
real stress comes out. I think that's where people display their stress.
well, you're
You can't go home and kick your kids and kick your dog, and you
fine.
have to behave. But we're teaching our children stress, and these children today are so stressed. They have so many stressors, and social media is one of them. And especially for teenagers, but even tweens, they what social media is showing them is perfection. Everything is glossy and everything is curated, and they know their lives aren't like that. And a lot of them really don't realize that none of it is real. It's smoke and mirrors. And yes, some of the kids really do live that way. Some of them really are living those lives, but that's not your life, and that's okay. Maybe your life is going to be something else, but I think we have to learn to first be content and have gratitude before we can expect anything else. And once you have gratitude, once you're able to really center yourself and get clear about what matters and what doesn't, that's when you can thrive. And that's when you can release all of that angst.
But it seems to be more of an air of entitlement, that I'm entitled to this, you owe me that, and I don't have to give up nothing for you. And it just seems to be, and it's interesting you said that too about youngsters. There was something I saw where this, he couldn't have been no more than 9 or 10, tore up his mother's entire kitchen because she had took his tablet away. And I'm saying is that, and there have been many things I've seen whereby we as adults now unfortunately park a tablet in front of the child or phone and let that baby system, and yet when you remove it from them, they just go bizarre. In fact, I had a client call me today. her daughter got upset about something through the remote at the TV and cracked it.
One, these children are addicted. When parents, and I see it all the time, when parents are walking, they put their phone, the baby is in a stroller, a toddler, they will give the toddler the phone so that they're busy. And instead of that child regulating their emotions and their stimulation and all that, and just observing what's going on around them, looking at the trees, seeing flowers, watching dogs go by, and just being present, they constantly need this the busyness, the flash, quick flash of images and stories. Everything is so fast. So these children are all dysregulated. And the parents do it not realizing how they're harming their children. Instead of giving the child the phone, you could be talking to your child and pointing things out, or the two of you could be singing songs together, or you could tell them a story or ask them, how was preschool today? What did you do? People aren't connecting. They
Well,
don't talk anymore.
let me ask you this then. If what you're saying is true, that it makes for dysregulated children, wouldn't that make for dysregulated adults and ultimately
Yes,
a dysregulated society?
absolutely. And we don't realize that everything we do, our children are watching, they're picking it up, and they're emulating us. I see these videos where these little girls are like little women, and people like them, and they give them, all these positive comments, and it's not cute.
I've heard
Children
of
should be
something like that.
children. They have no
And some mothers
innocence left.
actually put their daughters up on these platforms to get
Right.
comments, in some cases, money, in cases, and especially with child trafficking, sexual abuse, you would think people would be more mindful of those things.
But also, you're teaching your children that it's important to get likes. It's important. Popularity is what's important. That's where you get your value, because then the moms go, "Oh, look at this comment. Oh, everybody liked it." And they're not realizing that they're really harming their children. These children are so attuned to TikTok and Instagram, and it's really unhealthy. And this is the new standard. This is the new norm. It's not good. Now, these same children have to sit in classrooms. Teachers can't teach with these quick flashes of information. Teachers can't keep up with that. These kids need constant stimulation. Boom, 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 boom. It's awful. It's awful. I feel so sorry for teachers because these children have no attention span.
None. In fact, I was told by those who have taught that sometimes during their lunch break, they'll all sit in the room and they be crying practically of the children and some of the stress they're going through. And then the way the youngsters are talking to each other nowadays, it's very important. I do want to back up a second because somebody asked this question here. What's the difference between hypnosis and meditation?
With hypnosis, there's direct input of ideas or changes. So if I have a client and they say to me, I'm extremely stressed and I'm not functioning at work, and it's entering all these different areas of my life. Under hypnosis, I'm going to say, when situations that were stressful in the past arrive, it no longer affects you because you feel powerful, you feel calm, you feel relaxed. No one can take you to that point anymore because you have risen above that and they are beneath you. And it depends on the person. Every person is different. So when I look at an intake form, I'm going to say, okay, I see this about this person. My intake form tells me a lot about how people think, what their experiences have been, just how to approach them. So, depending on who it is, That's what I'm going to say. It's hard to say exactly what I'm going to say without knowing who who I'm dealing with, but I'm going to help them to feel differently in situations than they did before. And then I'll also use all kinds of triggers for them so that when they see this color, they see this person, they're in this situation, they feel calm and relaxed and confident or whatever it is. I take all that stuff. Meditation is going within. It's not inputting or changing the way someone reacts to a situation. So it's different. It's more of a calming, introspective, going inward, where hypnosis is actually reprogramming how you react or how you feel or how how productive you are. It's different. I hope that explains it.
Yeah, no, no. I do, but it's a whole different thing because with the, I would imagine with meditation, that's one thing, but with hypnosis, it also deals with the subconscious mind or reprogramming the subconscious mind. Would that be closest to it, you think?
Absolutely. Well, you did it. You you saw how it works. You've
Yeah.
experienced it, right?
Yeah. And you took me, the questionnaire was what, about 4 or 5 pages, something like that?
It was more than that.
Yeah, I know it
It's
was a
a lot
lot
of
of pages.
pages.
So, but it was a very, very interesting experience. So one of the things I think you're going to offer, like in your banner, you're going to be giving. Can you tell us there's something you were thinking about? By the way, this is how you get in touch with Kendall Cobb, please, hypnotherapist, life coach, business consultant. She does have a contact number, which is 1-800-396-MIND or 1-800-369-6463. And I think you said that if they text at that number, not call, but text at that number, what will they get?
Yes, I am going to send a short hypnosis recording to them that they can use for stress so that they can manage stress. So if you just text me at my phone number, put in your email address, and then I'll be able to send you the recording. So it's different than what happens if you're having a private session with me. With a private session, I'm able to use everything that you tell me, and you tell me all about your life and what your days are like, what your evenings are like, who you see, what you do, what you hear, all that stuff. So I'm able to use all of those for triggers, but I will use just basic triggers with this. So it's not the same as a private session. And it's only for stress. If in a private session, you could address 5, 10 different things if you wanted to. It doesn't matter how many things it is, but this is just specifically for stress. And yeah, just send me your email address and I will send you the recording. And then just listen to it reclined, comfortable, without any, turn your phone off and just soak it in.
Question: is there a difference between stress and trauma?
Oh,
Does that
yes.
make sense? And what's the difference?
Trauma.
In other words, in what ways are they similar, and yet in what ways are they different? If that makes sense.
Well, stress and trauma will both affect you physically, right?
Hmm.
There's a physical manifestation of it, but trauma is a specific experience.
Hmm.
So, for instance, I work with Syrian refugees that have been through war and they have PTSD. That's serious trauma. I also work with lots of clients that have had sexual abuse and physical abuse, all kinds of things. That has been trauma. It's a specific situation, an experience that they've been through. Stress is not necessarily a specific thing. Stress can just be life. Stress can just be how life affects you emotionally, which then becomes physical. And especially, With us melanated people, and we are often very stressed, we also have a very high incidence of type 2 diabetes. And I have people say to me, I don't know why I'm diabetic. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't eat a lot of meat, but stress can trigger it. If you're genetically encoded for it and you have a lot of stress that you don't address, yeah, you can trigger it. You can trigger it. So it's really important to eat well. And of course, that can be addressed with hypnotherapy as well. Changing your diet, not eating things that will cause you to be sick or to become less less well. There's a big trend. A lot of us are going vegan and have difficulty with that because they miss certain things. I have people say, "Well, I'd like to be vegan, but I can't give up fried chicken." So,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
know,
mhm.
hypnotherapy works with taking away habits, and it you can replace those habits with something else. You can't leave a void, but you can replace it with something else that is positive and that you love being vegan and you're completely satisfied with a wholesome diet and that it feels natural, like you've always eaten that way.
This person here, Cheryl Lee, says, "Do you teach self hypnosis, Miss Khan?"
I can, yes. What happens is when people have a session with me, and whenever you have a session, I give you a recording for reinforcement, and I ask you to listen to that after your session. That when you do that, that automatically teaches you how to do self hypnosis. You can do it on yourself anytime. Count yourself down, count yourself back up.
Has there ever been a case where a person feels that they can't go under or be hypnotized because they're so busy
Oh,
trying to
people
figure out
always say that.
what's going
Oh, I
on?
don't know if it's going to work for me. I don't think I can be hypnotized. Everyone goes under. Everyone. It just, that doesn't happen ever. Now, I've also been doing this for 20, yeah, 27 years. It
Well,
might
I
be
think that sounds
28
like you
years.
would be a little qualified,
Mama
so to
Zeke. Oh, thank you, Mama Zeke.
say. Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
I
that
worked with her
with
and
the
her
kids.
children. It was wonderful. Beautiful woman. Beautiful.
You know what's interesting? The last time I had you on about a year or so ago, there was this man and woman in the street, and she recognized me from seeing you on the show, and she talked and
Okay.
raved about how great you were. You know,
Oh, how
and
nice.
so those are the things I like where people, because really I started out strictly numerology, astrology, and I still do that. But my whole thing is to have my views as well rounded as possible because the whole world, see, for me, I wish everybody was into numerology and astrology, but there are other things that go on in life that doesn't relate to that. So every now and then I'll try to have a change up, but I'll never stop doing what I'm doing or reading people. But I just think it's very interesting. How
You're
did
too
you?
good to ever stop. You can't stop. That's not something you can do.
I
You can't
know,
leave
I
us
know,
out here like that, Lloyd.
I know. I thought I would retire. It's like seems like I'm just getting started, and it's exciting too.
That's how I feel. That's
Yeah.
how I
How
feel.
did you get
People ask
started?
me, "Will you ever retire?" Never. Never. What would I
Yeah.
do with myself?
What led you on this path? Did you try working on yourself? Were you traumatized? Were you stressed? Or what
No,
made,
it's
or did
funny.
you
Okay.
know growing up you thought you would be a hypnotherapist?
No. So I studied psychology and sociology in university. But when I was pregnant with my second daughter, in labor, I sort of just panicked and I said, I can't do this. I cannot do this again. It was my first labor and delivery was really rough. And I just snapped. I was like, I can't do this. So I pulled out the yellow pages. I'm living in New York City at the time. Pull out
Hmm.
the yellow pages and I see someone on, I think it was 41st Street or 40th Street. And I'd say, I'm in labor and I need help. And he's, oh, come on down. And I go and I walk in, and it's this dark, dank little office. There's no receptionist. There's this strange man who I didn't trust. And I walked into this dinky little office, and it was just not going to happen. He could not put me under. There was no way, no
Under
how.
those conditions anyway, right?
Mm-mm. No. And it was an awful, awful, awful labor and delivery. Just awful. It was worse than the first one. Fast forward, I'm living in Canada and I am a housewife. I'm taking all kinds of classes. I took pottery, I took Russian toll painting. I did all this stuff to fill up my days because my children were in school. And I saw that they were teaching hypnotherapy and you could be certified at the University of Toronto. So I went and I took the course, and it was really bad. And this instructor had no business teaching anyone anything. But I learned enough that I could do it. So I just wanted that certification. And then once I got that, I looked about 2 towns over, there was a health show, like a health fair in
Mhm.
it was like a high school. I think it was in the gym or the lunchroom or something. I don't know, but it was a health show, and I signed up for it, and I came with my brochures, and as people walked by, I told them, "Come on over. What do you know about hypnotherapy?" I just started talking to people, and I booked several appointments from doing that one show.
Interesting.
And I emptied my dining room out and turned it into a home office, and people came to my home. And it just, it was so fast. Was that Richard? Hi, Kendall. Thank you so much for for your answer. Hi, Richard. Um, it was it was just a natural. I was just good at it right away, just right away, even with poor training. It was just, I have an affinity for it, and it worked out really, really well. And then referrals, you always get referral business. And then I started advertising. I was in the yellow pages, like the guy was in New York who was terrible, but I was the
But you know what's
and
interesting? In two cases, you went to a dank office with a guy who looked kind of like definitely you wasn't comfortable with.
he was
Then you
sketchy,
moved to
yeah.
Canada, and he wasn't actually the best instructor in the world. So what made
Well,
you
University of Toronto is like, it's like an Ivy League school. It's an excellent university, but
but we're talking
excellent
about the
universities
instructor,
sometimes don't have good professors.
and so he was one of them.
He was one of them. Do you hear Aton in the back?
No. Mm-mm.
All kinds of crashes going on back there, like I'm not doing an interview.
Well, for those of Aton is a wonderful husband that we're going to have on at some point. Um, Mo Bless, evidently, shout out Canada's in the house. That's where they're from. And Richard
Yay!
says, "Hi, Kendall. Your advice has benefited me and my son very well. Thank you a lot." And Cheryl Lee asked this question:
You're
are you able
welcome.
to teach doulas some type of hypnotherapy to help their with clients during labor? That's interesting.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Doulas should all know hypnobirthing. Absolutely.
Why is
I
that?
don't do it any longer because the last time I did a hypnobirthing client, the baby was spilling out of her as she was going into the hospital, and they caught the baby just in time. She opened up so easily, and no, I'm afraid of it. But if you're a doula, absolutely. What's your name? Cheryl Lee? I don't have on my glasses because I'm trying to be
Yeah,
cute. I can
Cheryl Lee.
barely
Yeah,
see.
Cheryl Lee. I got you. I got you. I got mine on. So uh,
Okay.
and Mobless said that's right. She is from Toronto, also moved here from New York City back in 2004. When did you move to Canada? What year did you
I
move?
came here Boxing Day 1992, so that's the day after Christmas, 1992.
Okay. What's the day after Christmas? Boxer Day?
Boxing Day. You
That's
take all
that's
the
what it's called in
boxes out of
Canada.
your house from the Christmas gifts.
That's a Canadian tradition, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I
That's it.
think they do it in the UK too.
Okay. This person here, Taylor B says, I'll be taking my glasses off to be cute too. You know.
Here they are, and these are just readers, and they're a little bit too. There's too much medicine in them for me.
What do you mean
They
too
look
much
cute. Well, I
medicine?
guess I could put them on.
They look very nice. What do you mean too
They're
much
too
medicine in
strong,
the glass? Oh, the prescription. Okay.
and they're not a prescription. They're just. I think I got them on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
See, I put them on, and now no one's saying anything. Too cute with
Because
them
we
on, though.
put them on
Thank
though.
you, Taylor B.
Now, this has been one of my guests on the show before, and I've been on her show. She says, "Hello, everyone. How many hypnotherapies does it take for someone to reprogram their subconscious?" I think that's a great question. Is it
That
just
is a
one
great question.
done or a few, or that depends on the
So
person's?
I encourage my clients to do a package, which is 3 sessions. But even with the very first session, you have sweeping changes. But after you do that first session and you have those changes, you open up and you realize, you know what? Because your mind is really open now and you're confident and you feel different. So then they say, well, I want to do this and this. And then anything that you want to boost up a little bit from your first session, you can boost up with the second one, and the third one just ties it all in. And I tell my clients, check in once a year for a session. You don't need three, but check in once a year, just like a tune up, because life keeps lifing, it keeps changing. So
Well, Terry doesn't have a problem. He says, "Still beautiful with or without glasses." I have to agree.
thank you,
As
Terry.
that
Thank you,
says,
Lord.
yeah. Here's another question: how
Uh-huh.
can I learn self hypnosis technique?
How can you learn it? I guess the internet or pick up a book.
Or can they
I
call
don't know. I
you?
really don't get involved with it that much. I know that once you've been hypnotized, you realize how to do it. You can you would know what to do now, right, Lloyd? And you have the
I'm
recording.
not
Would you know
sure.
how to?
I'm not sure in that sense. Now that you made me think about it like that. Um, no, I'm going to have to say no right now. But I'm sure I could. But I hadn't thought about self hypnosis the way they're talking about. Um, Here's another question from Arando Anderson. As a hypnotherapist, do you also teach muscle testing as well to get answers from your own body?
No, I don't teach it, and it's not part of the session when I do my session. But I do know what muscle testing is,
What is it?
so that you know what's healthy and what's unhealthy.
What's muscle
So
testing for
if
those?
you were to pick up a pack of cigarettes and then you have your hands like this, if you hold cigarettes and someone pushes your hand down, you will be weaker than if you were to hold something that's healthy. So when you hold something that's unhealthy,
Ho. Can you repeat what you just said?
yeah, if you hold an item that is unhealthy for you, you're it will if someone pushes down on that hand that's holding it, you won't have the same strength as you would if you held something that was healthy. So you can do that if there's a food that you want to eat and you're not quite sure if you should eat it, or I mean, you can do it with anything and you push down. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Try
So, in
it.
other words, your own body will give you instructions. All you got to do is pay attention.
Your body knows.
So,
We are
let's
so divinely created.
So if a person's holding an object that's not good for them, like say a pack of cigarettes or alcohol or something like that, it might be
Right.
good
Or
for
if, let's
the
say, you were
person.
your doctor gave you medicine and they're like, "Oh, you should take this, Lloyd, for your whatever." And if you hold that medication and you do muscle testing, if you're weak holding it, don't take it. It's not
Question. Well,
for
who
you.
then tests your muscle? So in other words, if I'm holding it, do I push my own muscle down, my own hand down?
No, it's better if somebody else does it, I think. But you want to have a control thing. So hold on to a piece of organic fruit, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Something,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you do it like that, yeah. But it's better if somebody else gives the pressure.
So if they push down and there's resistance, that means no. If they push down,
Well,
I'm
right,
assuming.
something that is not good for you, you will not be as strong as if you put something of this the same weight in
In
that
the same
same
hand.
hand.
Yeah, yeah. That's fascinating to me. I'm gonna call
Pretty
you Dr.
cool.
Cobb now. See, that's fascinating. Really.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad
pretty
they
cool.
asked that question. I did not know that. I'm glad I asked
There's
you.
no need to do muscle testing for hypnotherapy. Like it has nothing to do with it at all. But what I will do, I guess it's not muscle testing, but if someone says to me, I want to be a multimillionaire and I want this and this and this and this, I will ask that person why. I ask those probing questions. Why do you want that? Is it to make you feel better about yourself? Are you in competition with someone? What is the reason why you have that desire? And it's not always, I won't ask that of everyone or of every question, but I want people to be aware of their choices or their desires and why they have them. I did a woman 2 days ago, I think, who desired opulence. And when we talked about it, after a while, she realized it wasn't it wasn't an organic desire. It was based on things from the past, unresolved hurts. You know, you have to know why you want things. I mean, if someone says, well, yeah, that's what I want, of course I'll give it to them. But or the ability to open that manifestation portal to attract what they want is more what it's about. It's about being able to manifest what you desire. It's about opening up your creativity so that you can figure out how to attract or how to create. It's all of that stuff. So it's all very organic.
As it should be. Normally, that's the best result too if it's been organic. Um, this is Cheryl Lee response. She says she's been a doula for 35 years and would love to have this in her toolkit. Is this something that you are teaching now? And if so, how do I sign up? I think that's nice. Did you want to add
I'm
this to her
I'm
years of experience?
I'm actually not,
Have you ever
but
thought about it?
about teaching,
Yeah, doulas. And just, you don't have to try to teach the whole world, but doulas, those
the
who
teaching
especially,
doulas.
yeah.
What I would like to see is for Cheryl to be certified with someone, and then she teaches it. A doula should be teaching it to doulas. I'm not a doula.
I
I
think she
think it's
wants you to
better
teach
for
the
her to
hypnotherapy
teach it.
part. I think she wants to add the hypnotherapy part to her doulaship.
Yes, and
That
she
makes sense.
should. She absolutely should.
In other words, but can she get it from you? I guess. I guess that's what she's saying. Or how can she sign up to learn how to do this?
I'm not a teacher. Cheryl, text me, please, or email me, and we can talk about it. I can try to guide you a little bit. Um, I've been doing this now for, I think it's 27 years, but I don't have the, I've never furthered to teach. There's a there's a certification that you get in order to teach, which I've never bothered to do. So,
Interesting. They said that naturopathic and chiropractics practitioners use this technique all the time. And
oh,
in
they're
fact,
talking about the muscle testing.
yeah, and Terry Ballou, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Last name, my chiropractor uses this technique. And another person, Robert Anderson says, I've been doing these tests myself, so I was just curious to see if more people are doing as well. Ironically, this first time I've heard about it. First time I've heard about it, which
There's
I
so
think
much
is
stuff out
amazing.
here, Lloyd. We can't hear about it all. We're all
I know,
still
but that's
learning
what's
every
so cool,
day.
though. There's always something to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Always
That's what's
something
so
to learn,
nice.
and just being open. And when you hang out in circles with people that are moving and shaking and doing things, you just keep learning. I learn something every day. Kinesiology, yes, Mama Zeke.
Kinesiology, what is that? Is that
It's
testing?
it's kinesiology. That's the science with muscle testing. Kinesiologists do it. It comes from that branch of science.
Yeah, he says, Terry again says Dr. B is the expert on kinesiology. I hope I'm saying it correctly.
Yep,
Um,
you are. Kinesiology.
Mo Bless says that is so true. Always start with your why and go from there. I guess, by asking yourself the why, that we you have a reason or motivated to do that. Would that be so? No?
Well, it's also that a lot of us are on autopilot. We're not thinking.
Hmm.
Even when people look at my intake form, I have had, I can't, countless clients say, I learned so much about myself just from your intake form. Things I didn't even think about, things I didn't realize about myself. We're so busy and we're so distracted that we're really not paying, a lot of people, I can't say everyone, a lot of people just don't pay attention to what's going on in their own lives with their own children, their families.
That sounds kind of strange to say that.
It's yeah, and it's a
And yet
shame,
you could not tell people they're not aware of what's going on around them.
right? Well, being present is a gift that we give to ourselves because these days go by, and I can say, like, I'm almost 60 now. These days are flying by faster and faster and faster. I don't know how it works, but I know that as I age, these days are shorter and shorter. And you want to be present. You want to make the most of it. This life is a gift. Make the most of it. Be
And you only
present.
got one go around.
I don't know. I believe we come back if if we don't learn our lessons, but that's a whole other story,
Yeah,
whole
but
other
wow.
topic.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have some people I've met that never learn or will learn, unfortunately,
Well, they just want to keep coming back over and over and over again.
until they get it right eventually, I guess, right?
Learn those lessons.
Wow. This is also from Ms. Bradley. She says, I have a friend who swears hypnotherapy doesn't work on her. Do you know why some people have this block? And sorry, full of questions today. No, it's women have
Don't be
questions.
sorry. We
No,
like engagement.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, I don't know if it doesn't work on her because of who she's working with. Maybe it's a trust issue. Um, if you don't trust the person you're working with, it I didn't trust the person that I went to when I was in labor. There's nothing that man could have done, nothing to put me under. I don't have clients that don't get what they're looking for. And it's just, I think it's the rapport that we build.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I am an open book. I don't have secrets. So I will, when someone is telling me their story and what they've been through, if there's something in their experience that I can identify with and share what I went through and how it affected me or whatever, then I will. So I have a rapport with my clients. It's very intimate. And maybe that's why it everything works out the way it does. But I take my time, however long it takes, it takes. When people say, "How long is a session?" On my website, it says that it's an hour and a half. That's a lie. It's never an hour and a half. It's however long it takes. We're gonna plow through stuff. We're gonna just dig and dig and dig and dig. And then when it's just right, that's when we start the hypnosis part. So everyone comes away satisfied and happy and content.
Well, in the few remaining moments we have, Mo Bless put this interesting quote. She says, one of my favorite teachers quotes, 5% of the people think, 10% of the people think they think, and the other 85% would rather die than think. Have you heard that before?
Thomas Edison.
In Aquarius, by the way. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That's kind of like, that's interesting if that's true. Um,
Yeah. I can say that my practice over all these years has mostly been built on referrals. So it's got to be working. There, I have noticed that all of a sudden, I'm seeing on Instagram all of these people that are saying, become a hypnotherapist for $5, for $24. I'm terrified for my industry because there are
really?
going to be all kinds of people out here that absolutely are going to make a mess of this. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm concerned. So for the young woman, the doula who said, "Can I train her?" I'm
Yes.
not certified to teach. I've never gone through that certification, so that's why I'm not willing to do that because I don't feel that it's correct for me to do it without the certification. But the wild, wild west of the internet, people are offering all kinds of crazy stuff, and
Well, let
I'm
me ask you
concerned.
this then.
I'm concerned.
Your 27 years of professional history, is there someplace you can refer her to, like the University of Toronto or something like that you were talking about, where
Oh, she
perhaps,
doesn't have to come to Toronto, it depends on where she
I
is. So
mean,
when
that's
she
that's what I'm
phones
saying,
me.
that no matter where she is, go to
Y
a professional school, whether it's in New York or
Right.
California or whatever the case is, to kinda add that skill set to what her present experience is, you think?
Yes, I if sh as long as she contacts me, we can figure it out together. I don't know where she is, we'll talk. I'll help her.
Okay. Now, this is how, in the last remaining moments, you get in touch with my wonderful, wonderful guest, Miss Kimberly Cobb. I should call you doctor, but I ain't gonna go there. Go
No,
ahead.
please don't,
Yeah, I know I've been called
'cause I'm
doctor
not.
this. No, I don't. I don't have that degree, but I know we act sometime on that level. But anyway, it's Kendall Cobb, hypnotherapist, life coach, business consultant. Her contact number is 1-800-396 mind, MIND, the way we think. Or for those of you, it's 1-800-396 6463. Her website is hypnosiswithkendall.com. Her Facebook and Instagram is also Hypnosis with Kendall. Her email is Kendall at hypnosiswithkendall.com. For those of you who would like to receive the free link for to relieve the stress, it's for stress only. It ain't for money, ain't for this, that, and other. She's very specific. She's narrowing in on one thing is stress. Text her. Don't call her. Please listen to the instructions. She says, text her your information. Text your email address. Is that correct, Kimberly?
They can text me their email address and I will send the recording to them. But people can call me. I know like people don't like to talk on the phone anymore. Everyone texts. The thumbs are going. I like to speak to people. For people that are interested in hypnotherapy, they have questions, call me. I offer a free 20-minute consultation. So
And it's
absolutely they
free?
can call me.
Really?
Of course.
That's interesting. Okay, that's good. So make sure you call her at 1-800-396-6463 or 1-800-396-MIND, MIND, and get a free 20-minute consultation. But I would suggest that you text to get the link so you can. And I think that's very nice of you to make that available to our viewers. That for those,
Well, Lloyd, you know I love you. You know I love your viewers. They have been
yeah,
wonderful to me, and I have seen I don't even know how many, probably 100 different people because of your show. So,
wow, okay, good. Thank you,
I
viewers.
feel like
Thank you very much.
absolutely I would love to do this for them.
Okay, good. So, Kendall, I want to thank you. I think toward about December, we're going to have your wonderful husband on Aton to talk about some of the craziness that's going on in this country. It's which is an understatement. And you know what's happening?
That's gonna be a
People
crazy
can
show.
sense it. They maybe can't put their finger on it, but they can sense that something is kind of like out of turn, out of whack, off center.
Well, tomorrow is election day.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, Noel says, please vote for your favorite candidate. I not said they had me on some show trying to tell me who it was going to be. I don't do that. I lay the conditions of things out there for both candidates. You know, they're both air signs. They're both full moons. Kamala's a Libra with her moon in Aries. Uh, Trump is a Gemini with his moon in Sagittarius. So they're both full moons. She's born in 1964. He flipped it around. He's born in 1946. So it's just going to be
that's
very, very, yes,
interesting.
it's going to be very, very, and it's going to be a 6 universal day tomorrow, which favors more Librans. And in fact, there have been more Libran presidents than there have been Gemini presidents. They've only been 3. Trump made the 3rd one, but they
Really?
4. Yes. So if Kamala does win, she would make the 5th Libra president. See, these are the conditions I'm saying. I ain't saying y'all got to go here, go there. Y'all all make your own decisions. But Kendall, thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you
It's
very much.
always a pleasure. I love doing your show.
Thank you. Thank you. And they love obviously having you here too. And so for all of you, please reach out to her at this. And Kendall, I've got to make some announcements, but I thank you very much. And I will be in touch with you and your wonderful husband to have him on to talk about some. The one thing, your husband is very realistic. He keeps it real. God bless his soul. You so lucky.
It will be one heck of a show.
No, you know I know, and he breaks it down. He's my buddy. So please give him my best. Give the girls my love and all that stuff. And thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Love you much. All righty.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Okay. That was fun. That was so much fun. So let me um let you know who the sponsors were. It's Reza Islam with his intellectualpowers.net. When you go there, please use the QR code, type in the word numbers and get your discount. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn, they're having a special event this coming Sunday out at 1396 Fulton Street, and the guest is going to have a pop-up shop in Carew. I've had him on my show talking about precious metals. Beginning next year, I'm going to start a power series. In the month of March, there's certain things that evidently community guidelines and all this other stuff. So on my Power Series platform, we'll be free to talk about things that are encumbering, but yet empowering. And that would be my ultimate goal for the Power Series. Also, my guest is also hosting the show or sponsoring the show is Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose. She has a podcast. And you go to Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com. Or if you want to hear her manifest on purpose, is KIMBALAY underscore on YouTube. By the way, on the first, I've already signed up already. She is having a vision board mastery class. And yes, I signed up soon as she did it. By the way, the barcode, if you want to click on the QR code right there and get your information. And then my buddy Eric Taylor. This guy is so dynamic. I mean, in fact, we did a thing last week on his show talking about the elections, talking about the cosmic and numerical cycles of both candidates. That's going to be, and by the way, tomorrow, whoever your choice is, just vote. So it can't be said you didn't put your 2 cents in it, please. Okay. But for Eric, he's offering a special coming up on the 21st. You see it there. The brother's brilliant. And he's going to be on my show on the very first day of January, opening up the year 2025 to tell us what's in the stars and what's in the heavens. For those of you, the newsletter, November newsletter is out. You know, there's some months, some days, some week better than others, because what I did is, I put a link in the end of the newsletter so you can click on the link to go to listen to the audio version of me reading your sign, which is more in depth. I put a little bit more pizzazz in it. I try to add a little humor so it's not that serious. And for some reason, I put in the wrong one. So that's my bad. So if you go here, please take a screenshot of the QR code at the bottom right. Click on it, and it will take you to the proper link to hear the November astronumerology forecast. All right. So just click on that QR code right there, and then you can go to your signs and stuff like that. But if you do the newsletter, I blew that. I'm going to try to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But it is, and this is what you see on there. This is us talking about the November newsletter. I think December will make 1 year we've done this. It started out just as an idea, but it just blossomed, and we thanking the listeners or the viewers very much for that. And let me tell you this, my Android, my Star 8 app has been hacked. I did not know until I wanted to update my report. I couldn't. It looked all strange. I contacted my developer very early this morning. I'm talking about because they're in a far distant land. They're about 12 hours ahead or whatever. So I did this, and he told me it had been hacked, and that hopefully by this evening or tomorrow at the latest, it will be back on track. So if yours is not working, now here's what you can do. What you can do is send a notice to a star 8 LLC at gmail.com. He did say that if you do have it, I can forward him your emails of what you've observed, and he can respond back to you. So it's a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8, LLC at gmail.com. I'll repeat. So whatever your thing is, you can upload it. My cue was I couldn't get my information off my calendar that I look at every day. So just write to a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8, LLC at gmail.com. And I can forward your emails to him, and then he will get in touch with you. And the one thing I must admit, he's very reliable, him and his team getting back to you to try to straighten out this mess. So it just says somebody wanted to hack me for some reason, seemed like they'd have something else better to do with their time. But anyway, I guess that goes with the territory. Other than that, let me say this. In February, I will be teaching my course again, my Numbers in You and Beyond workshop of how to become a professional in this field. That's in February. In April, I'm going to be doing a course on palmistry, one of my favorite subjects. And by the way, you can click on the QR code to find out more information about that. And also at the beginning of the year, January through December, I'm going to be starting my power series, the power of relationships, the power of cycles, the power of health, the powers of precious metals, the powers of visualization, the power of all kinds of things that I think that will empower our viewers, where I can be free to really stretch out and explain some of these metaphysical things that seem to be kind of sensitive on certain platforms for whatever reason. Anyway, I want all of you to have a nice day. I will see you Wednesday, and I think I'm going to be my own guest. Okay. That way I can do some readings and stuff too, because I really enjoy it too. But I do want to thank Miss Kendall Cobb for being such a wonderful, wonderful guest. And all of you, thank you very much. And please make sure you'll have a very wonderful day. Take good care of yourselves. And don't forget, tomorrow is election day. So you can't be said after that you ain't have a chance to vote. All right. So if your candidate didn't come out and you should have voted, well, you got tomorrow, one last day to do that. Okay. No excuses. Have a nice day until then. Bye.